Hey everybody, happy Monday, or if you're watching this on another day of the week, happy whatever day of the week it is, unless of course it's a Thursday, and then, just get through. Just get through. Friday's coming. Friday's coming. I believe in you. So, but if it's another day of the week, happy that day. I hope you're staying cool out there in the hope you're staying in the shade or indoors, because it is blazing hot out there, isn't it? I just wanted to give you guys all an update about our plans as the church for the fall. The last month has been awful, especially on church leaders, especially on people who are trying to lead congregations through this. A lot has changed, a lot hasn't changed, at least in our congregation. There's been what feels like hours and hours of discussion, hours of prayer, hours of me not ripping my hair out or trying not to rip my hair out, hours of me running and looking up to God and saying, what should we do? And really things came to a head for us last week. I sense that's true across most churches too, that we're in a place, we're not alone. We're in a place that most churches are in. And last week, things sort of came to a head where at least I, as your pastor, realized that we needed to make some long-term plans. We just needed to make our best plan for going forward and make a long-term plan. Now, with that said, it kind of says something about the day we're living in, that our long-term plan is really just for the next 5 months. Do you guys remember the Chiefs won the Super Bowl 5 months ago? Feels like a decade ago. Man, time has slowed down like crazy, and not in a good way. At all. And so the board met yesterday, and we talked about what should be our big stones, what should be our big things to focus on in the next few months, at least until January. And we picked 4 things that we are going to focus on as a church. So let me talk you briefly through them. The first one is the most important one. That is that we have committed as a church board to just say we're going to do the Zoom call Sunday morning worships that we've been doing since March. We're just going to do that until January at the least. In January, we'll revisit that. That is unless, of course, a miracle happens and Utah has moved to a completely safe, coronavirus safe zone between now and then. That wasn't an easy decision to make. In fact, one of the things we spent a lot of time talking about over the last month is how to make our sanctuary safe. And we had a list of major renovations that we would have to make. The problem with our church and our unique situation is that we have a small sanctuary. We have one of the smallest sanctuaries of any church I know, and I've been in a lot of churches' sanctuaries. Our sanctuary is only 20 feet wide, and the CDC says that is not enough space, both for the amount of people that you would put in this and also for singing and preaching. And so we talked about ways to mitigate the risk, but in the end we decided this really isn't worth it, especially since many of you and many of my unchurched friends were all telling me they weren't going to show up anyway. Even if they were convinced it was 100% safe, we couldn't have convinced them that it was 100% safe, that they wouldn't show up anyway. And so we had to make the tough call and just say, we're going to be one of those churches, and we're not the only one, but we're going to be one of those churches that's just going to meet online until January, and we'll revisit that decision in January. I think right at 12:01 a.m., January 1st, 2021. We'll revisit that decision, or at the next board meeting that happens after that, probably. With that said, there is an important caveat there I do want you to hear, and that is we are going to open the building at 9:30 on Sunday mornings, and we are going to stream the Zoom call on the screen in the sanctuary for people who don't have the technological means to watch it from home or participate from home. So if you don't have the technology, that's okay. We come to the church, we'll hook you up with the technology, we'll play the worship service, the pre-recorded worship service on the screen, and then we'll have some sort of a breakout session or maybe break into different rooms, and you can join the Zoom calls in the other rooms and have me and somebody else on hand as tech guides to help through that. So that is the caveat there. So the building will be open on Sundays, but the focus will be on the online Zoom call that we've all been calling into. So that's our first decision we made, the first thing we're focusing on. Not the only thing we want to focus on the next few months. The second thing we're going to focus on is just our online presence. We've been focusing on that as long as I've been here, but over the last year or so, we've really wanted to renew that focus, and we're looking at this season as an opportunity to do that. So we're going to really hope to revamp our website to start pushing out online content. We're going to email out little devotional videos just like this one about once a week. They won't all be by me. We'll recruit other people to do them too. We're going to try to create some online conversations and really increase our online presence. My unchurched friends are telling me that no, they wouldn't come to church before coronavirus happened. They're definitely not going to show up after it happened or until it's over. But they did say that they wouldn't mind some online content and engaging with us online. That's what I'm hearing from them. And so we're really hoping to increase our online sort of footprint and really start connecting with people through that venue. The hope there being that when we decide to meet together again as a church, that we'll have 5 to 10 new families who are that much more willing to check us out and come join us when we meet together again. Third thing we're going to do is we're just going to do monthly gatherings as a congregation in person. And so those are going to be fun. Those are going to be lighthearted. They're going to be things like bonfire nights and movie nights. Until the weather changes, we're going to be outdoors, and then we're going to look at some indoor things we could do that would be safe and secure. And of course, we're going to have good ventilation there. And maybe even as we plan those, we might, don't take this one to the bank, but we might also have an online component there where you can phone in. So we're looking at doing that. That's also something we want to do. We sent out a survey a month ago, and you all said you still want to get together occasionally in person, and we think it's safe enough to do about once a month. So we're going to do that. Then the fourth thing, of course, we're going to do, hopefully this one goes without saying, but if I don't say it, someone's going to get mad. And that is, of course, we're going to continue to provide for each other. Of course, we're going to continue to care for each other. Of course, we're going to continue to assess our needs and make sure that all of our needs, our holistic needs, are being met. Of course, that's going to be a fourth focus. So those are the 4 things we're going to use this season to really dive into, to really focus on. With that said, there are some big asks we have of you. 3 big things we want to ask of you from now until January 1. The first thing is just please stay engaged. Please stay engaged with the Zoom calls. Please stay engaged with the online content. Please engage with each other. Just stay engaged. And I would also add to that, please stay financially engaged. Before all this began, we were a church in an okay financial position. That is starting to go away. So please stay financially engaged too. Please continue to support your local church in this. You really can't outgive God. Even in this season, you can't outgive God. So please continue to engage personally, to engage relationally, to engage financially, all the ways there is to engage. That's our first big ask. Our second big ask would help us out online. Help us if we email you something and you like it, forward it to a friend that doesn't have a church and say, hey, my pastor sent this out, or my associate pastor sent this out, or this guy I go to church with said something really good here that I really like. And so if you're on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, like, share, blast it out to your news feeds. Just help us increase that online thing. It only takes a second. And I know there's a little bit of vulnerability in that. I get it. I struggle with that too. But it really does help us out if you guys will just sort of help us be a positive presence on the internet. And I think we all would agree the internet needs a positive presence right now. And then, of course, the third thing we would ask you, it's a joy for me to ask this of you because you do it so great anyway. I would ask you to just keep caring for each other. Keep calling each other, keep giving gifts to each other, keep sending each other emails, keep sending each other written cards, keep engaged, keep caring for each other. One of the things the board wanted me to emphasize in this, so this comes from them, not me. They said last night, we don't just want you, Kevin, we don't want to assume that Kevin's doing all the congregational care. We want to do the congregational care too. And so the board would ask you, please care for each other, care for me as your pastor, pray for me as your pastor. I've been praying for you pretty consistently in this time, and stick it out with us. I really do believe, guys, we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this. God's going to carry us through this. Evangeline just told me the other day, as long as his name and his cross is on the building, he'll take care of us. So we're going to get through this. Just please get through it with us. Please don't abandon us. Please don't leave us. Please don't desert us. Just get through it with us. So in closing, in the immortal words of the great Red Green, if you ever watched the Red Green show, it's all on YouTube, actually, if you want to go check it out. I love that show. He always ended one of the segments he did by looking at the camera and saying, remember, I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together. Guys and gals, your pastor's pulling for you. We're all in this together. So in closing, I'll throw up sort of our Sunday morning schedule again. You all should know it by now. The only change we've really made to that is we bumped it back a half hour, which is okay. And so our schedule will close us out. We'll also email that out and post it around and make sure that people know that's what we're doing on Sunday mornings. Stay engaged and join us. Thanks, everybody.